LSD, psilocybin, peyote, DMT, ayahuasca, mescaline, cannabis. All of these substances produce profound changes in patients and have shown to enhance neuroplasticity, particularly in patients with trauma-based disorders such as PTSD. One niche underground substance, however, that shows similar effects to these substances and even greater and more rapid changes is a plant originating from the Great Lakes region. Originally thought to be part of the Trillium family, it was discovered to be an entirely new genus, though it will camouflage itself within groups of trilliums. It was discovered in the 1990s by bioscience professor Osgood Eastman and is thought to have first appeared in the 1980s in upstate New York. The origins of the plant, whether it is foreign or native, is still unknown. There have been small communities of Triquetra Erectum users, particularly in impoverished rural areas due to its accessibility. Though the plant can easily be found by lakes, marshes, and rivers, it is hard to identify due to its similarity to Trillium serenum, Trillium erectum, and Trillium sicily. Triquetra erectum takes its subgenus name from Trillium erectum, which, though differing in color, also maintains an upright position. This is partially how individuals with a trained eye can spot Triquetra erectum in a cluster of Trillium serenum, for instance.
Like I got off a plane, like jet lagged.
This is the dose that we started noticing that this drug acted less like a bump of ketamine or a gram of shrooms and more like a half of a DMT trip or a couple tabs of acid.
So we're going to measure exactly what it's like with an altered states of consciousness questionnaire. It's very different and much more interesting than the generic like mental health screeners. You have a copy as well as Dr. McKenna and I have one as well. So we're going to go through it together. For the purposes of making this data easier to work with, this is going to be a scale from like 1 to 10, so you can do it as close as possible. 1 being least relevant and 10 being the most relevant to what we've experienced. To start, do you perceive the boundaries between yourself and your surroundings blur?
At first it felt like I was pissing my pants for some reason, but I wasn't, so.
That does happen.
It was really quick. What I imagine a lot of people experience on DMT, but not as dizzying of visuals. It was actually like incredibly clear, everything that I was seeing. I tried to Tura once in high school. I wouldn't compare it to that because that was a horrible experience, but the intensity was somewhat similar. Psychedelics, and I didn't look for my persecutor because right now I'm trying to look for the thing that is holding everything back from me. You know what I mean? Like that's really my number one thing, and I think that it's so like I focused all my attention on this. Like I was straight up like staring into the sky, like again, you know, like just like and all the stars were out because it was the Adirondack. You know what I mean? Like it's in the middle of nowhere, and there's like no electricity, no lights are on or anything, so I can see a lot of the stars, and I'm looking there and I'm focused like on one specific star, and I close my fucking eyes, and I was met with like the biggest wave of like panic that I had ever felt in my entire life. Like, cause I was like, I feel like I actually did reach it, but I'm not fucking
Not ready for that.
Like there's no way in hell. Like it's like, cause like, and I know that it's whatever it is keeping me safe. Like, and that was my realization. Cause like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck am I even supposed to do with that? Like, the feeling, like, I've literally never felt anything like that before in my entire life.
Well, that's the thing, is the thing that's holding you back has also been protecting you in some way for a very, very long time. So getting rid of that, you're essentially walking around like a slug.
Like a snail without a shell. That's what he said, which is like, and I feel like I feel like that might be good for me though, because so much of my problem is I hate myself for being my persecutor. But if I can't protect myself, then how am I supposed to change? But also me protecting myself, this idea of that is just like me beating myself down until I want to die. So like I need to not.
It's like how you see it. It's like you say, you're like, with however many years of like trauma you've gained, it's gonna take however many years longer to unlearn that.
And it's like, bruh, like what do you mean?
Like 20 years really digging in grooves that need to be undug. It flowers from May to August and thrives in direct sunlight, with at least 6 hours needed during bloom. The Triquetra Erectum is a white, 1 to 3 inch, 3-petaled flower. It has either a pleasant vanilla aroma or rancid, sulfur-like smell depending on the person's genetic, somewhat like cilantro. Insects pollinate the flower, but mammals generally stay away from it, as though it is not poisonous. It can induce vomiting as well as intense hallucinogenic visuals. The plant is often referred to in street culture as trick. It can be eaten raw, smoked, or synthesized into a psychoactive compound that can be administered through pill form, nasal spray, or via injection. Triquetra erectum is considered an ethnogen, which is a family of psychoactive substances, particularly of a plant origin. Broadly, it refers to a psychedelic that is used for its religious and spiritual qualities. In rat studies, we have found an overall increase in connectedness with different regions of the brain, as well as a reduction in hyperactivity in the amygdala. In our human studies, we have seen that Triquetra erectum, whether applied at low or high doses, has positive effects on trauma processing, particularly in the mid-region of the brain. The midbrain processes holding emotion and auditory visual information. It does not exist in the realm of language. We have seen that Triquetra erectum, among other psychedelics, allow patients to feel their healing rather than just think about it intellectually. In humans, we have seen that the default mode network experienced an increase in overall connectedness with other networks in the brain. This correlates with a greater flexibility in emotional processing and ability to absorb traumatic events. Though the physical changes in the brain of human subjects seems to be somewhat uniform, the emotional reactions and processing varies. Some gain great peace and acceptance of the struggles they have had to or continue to endure. Some, after their first dose, will experience great anxiety as they encounter feelings of guilt and remorse towards their wrongdoings that they have not previously considered or paid attention to. It is then essential to couple psychedelic therapy like the type that is employed when administering Triquetra erectum with a continued advocacy for systemic change. We have seen time and time again that patients need a healthy environment in order to properly unlearn problematic worldviews.
A story that actually made sense, even though it was so abstract.
And was that a feeling of unity that you experienced, or was it more dissociated from that?
It was somewhere between those two states. I felt like I was melting from my body and into this I was seeing the image of a rave. Actually, I saw a vision of this girl I'm seeing. She pulled me into the rave body. It was like we were one, but I could feel every sensation in my body so clearly. It was like contradictory.
Myself and Dr. Sullivan have experienced something similar. That feeling of being completely in tune with the physical world, and yet at the same time feeling limitless and beyond it.
Yes, exactly. And people in situations from the past, they also got consumed by this rave body. I feel like the trick, or what's it called again?
That's the street name. Don't worry about getting it right for the camera, though. If you want to be accurate, the scientific name is Triquetra erectum.
Triquetra erectum. Well, I feel like the plant itself was talking to me, telling me that I carry everything with me, and the only way to overcome it is to absorb it, but I can't be the only one to absorb it, or it will destroy me. But when I joined the rave body, when she reached out to me, she looked like a goddess, and I felt us carrying and absorbing that burden together, shared, spread out. It wasn't gone, it was just more manageable, diffused.
No, that's exactly what we were looking for. That's exactly the effect we were trying to find.
Importantly, these changes can be significant when the patient is in the right environment, but if the patient has to return to an abusive or traumatizing situation after their psychedelic experience, much of the progress will be lost. In high doses, patients may cry, yell out, or even become physical. It is the job of the practitioner not to react impulsively, but to calmly stay in the present moment and assure the patient that they are safe and okay. And an important note as we wrap up. Further studies on Triquetra Erectum are needed before it can be used in a therapeutic setting. Despite its current use in countercultural settings within the public sphere, the ability to legally access Triquetra Erectum remains years away, as bureaucratic hurdles have heavily restricted access to this powerful psychedelic. We will continue to pursue studies and apply for funding, but there is also a clear need for public support in this matter. Through this film, we hope that you have seen the hope and possibility in this plant that we have.